Hey guys, so um, Escape Room Artist here. We are going to go over uh, a game maker behavior using the bird behavior and platforms to create this platform that instead of moving north, south, east, west, it moves in a circle. So using the bird behavior and attaching a platform to it will allow you to go in that circle. However, there's a kind of a trick to it because you actually need two platforms. I'll go through it in this video. So stay tuned. Alrighty guys, so here we go. This is the video that unfortunately got misshot yesterday. So it was my Maker Monday. So Maker Mondays happen at 6 p.m. every Monday. And that's 6 p.m. Central U.S. time. The my internet acted up and it didn't record, didn't set up very well. So I'm re-recording this today to answer a question of someone in the stream who asked about a bird behavior and how to attach a platform so that you can use it to basically have a platform that the player rides on. So that's what we're doing here. So the technique that I found that works best for me is actually grabbing a tile, because I don't like the little logic donuts. The tile seems to be the best for me. So grab a tile. Concrete tile is what I use, and I like to, and I'm going to zoom in real quick. I like to hold shift so that it snaps to the grid here and put it right dead in the center. So there we go. There's our bird behavior. So we're going to go ahead and click on it. We're going to write up here bird, or actually we're going to write pivot. Pivot! Because that's the pivot point of this setup. So there you go. It's called pivot, and we do not want collisions. We don't really care about collisions. Actually, let me back up. We're going to keep collisions on for now. I'll go through that here in a second. So we're going to make it a bird behavior. So there we go, MP bird. And what I like to personally do is I like to actually take the flying speed down to a 0.5. That way it's not too fast in the rotation. You can obviously speed this up later on if you need it to be faster, but that's where I like to start. Okay, my fly minimum I want at a 2, which is this inside circle here. And then I want to take my max and do the same thing, because I don't want it to go wider or narrower than it already is, right? I just want to keep it at a consistent distance away. And then fly max width, I like to actually take, or I'm sorry, not width, sorry, fly max height. I actually like to take that down to not 0. 0 for some reason defaults into this kind of funky wave kind of mechanism. So I like to put it at 0.1. And then also do that for the minimum height as well, 0.1. So by having these settings, that allows that bird behavior to be fairly level the whole way across. Alrighty, so that is that. Now, that's just the bird, so now we need a platform that the player can stand on. So what I like to do is then grab something flat. In this scenario, I'm actually going to use a fence. Do a search in the library for fence. And if it loads up, there we go, wooden fence. Click, and we'll set it down right there. So now we'll select it, because now we need it to lay down flat. So under the X of the rotation, we want to set it at 270. That makes it nice and flat. And now I'm going to come in here and actually look at this a little bit closer. And there's a reason why. So the center point, or the pivot point for this asset, is actually the center point at the bottom. And the center point for the tile is actually dead center of the tile. So you want to line those two together. So by selecting and holding down shift, you can now snap it to grid and bring it down till you get center point on center point. Okay, that being said, that should be good to go. What we want to look at is actually how this bird behavior works out. Because if you jump into the game right now, you'll see that it's on some funky old angle. Okay, and that's because you just saw something that I goofed up on. So I never parented those two together. So now going into the hierarchy, and we want to take that wooden fence, boom, and we want to then marry it or parent it to the pivot point, right? So there we go. Now that those are pivoted together, or married together, or parented together, however you want to word it, same thing. Excuse me. Now we'll get into it, and you'll see that it's this funky angle. So this funky angle that the player really doesn't like, right? Okay, so it looks like the head of the bird is the tile, and the tail of the bird is the fence. That's good information to have, because now we're going to create the platform that the player stands on. So we're going to click on this platform. We're going to now Control Shift and D, that way we duplicate it. And then now we want to bring it off to the side. We want it to bring it off to the side, and I actually like to bring it out. I mean, obviously it depends on your setup, but bring it out at least one more block, right? That way we get some distance on it, but not too much actually. So there it is, about one block away. So now this platform needs to be at an angle to counteract the angle that was already in place by the bird behavior. So we grab the little rotation tool, we hold down shift because we want to snap to different stuff. We want to then bring this up to 315 degrees, right? So at 315, I like to actually go a little bit more than 315. So we'll go after we get to 315, sorry, I'm getting tongue tied here. After we get 315, I want to take it another 5 degrees. So I take my finger off the shift key and take it the other 5 degrees to make it approximately 320. Doesn't have to be exact, just somewhere around 320. Okay. Now what we do is we click here on the parenting, and we take this same this wooden fence that we just made, click on the crosshairs and drag it on top of the other wooden fence. So now that's parent, child, and grandchild, right? That's the kind of the hierarchy of that. Okay, now when we tab in, we should see this platform. It's actually on too great of an angle, so actually I need to change that. But you see that now we have a platform that will go around. So let's try this again. We're going to grab that, and actually I'm going to delete it because I don't like that angle. And we want to then grab this previous one, Control Shift and D to duplicate. We're going to bring him over here like the other one. Okay, change the angle so we can see better. Bring him up there. All right, so there we are. We're back to that again, but we want to take it, instead of 315, we're going to take it to 315 just for default, and then we're going to carry it back 5 degrees to make it 310-ish. There we go, 310. So now that should be good. Because we deleted it, we need to reattach it. So we reattach the wooden fence to the other wooden fence, or the platform to the base of the pivot of the bird. Okay, so now with those all married together, parented together, we should be able to now go back to it again and look at there. It is fairly level. Not exactly level, but fairly level. And there you go. Oop. You could kind of ride on it. Oops. And you see that it has a little bit of that sway. There we go. So now you can ride on it. You notice that I keep pushing the key forward for my player because your player doesn't ride directly on it. What you need to do is actually create a foot stop to prevent the player from falling off. So you'll put it on this light brown side here, and then possibly even putting it on, you know, this inside edge. So going further with that, we're going to take another one of these. We're going to shift control D, right? And now we're going to drag it over. Oops. Okay, let's delete that one. Anyways, all we're doing is creating another platform. In fact, I'll go ahead and delete that one just so we leave you any kind of confusion. All we did is we created another platform, and we're bringing it back over into position. But before we rotate it, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create those backstops, or those foot stops. So now go back into the library, click on the search, and find you a tile or something else, you know, that you want to create the foot stop with. I actually like the tile in this scenario. And then you want to lay it down. And when you lay it down, you want to click on it again, and you want to change its orientation. So you want to take it 90 degrees so that it stands up. Okay. Now to get nice and close, now we're going to shift. And you remember we want it on the back side, on this light side. So you hold down shift and basically get it to snap to grid. Control shift D, do the same thing, and just do it and bring it over so that we get this nice little foot stop. Do it again, and you could have a better asset, you know, a better platform, a better foot stop. You know, you could have this all built in Vox Edit so that you don't have to build this kind of setup. But this is what I like. So this is what I'm playing with. So there we go. We have this foot stop, and I'm going to put it on the inside too. But to get that one, we're going to have to rotate it 90 degrees the other way too. So there we are. And then we want to bring it, holding down shift, bring it into the area. And I think I'm set up somewhere too high. No, it's not too high. It's just wide. Okay. So we'll just bring it just in. And then make sure, because we're just basically wanting to square this up, right? Boom. Okay. Shift Control D. Do the same thing. And then bring it over. Shift Control D. Bring it over. And then that should be good. We're actually going to bring this one back a little bit so that those three are together as well, right? All three of them are in a line. Boom. Okay, gosh, the angle's bad. There we go. Click, click, and click. We highlighted all three of them. That allows us to bring all three over, and then we'll bring them all three in just a little bit to basically form that inner surface wall. There we go. So now we'll take that. Actually, we'll just do it this way. We'll highlight all these tiles. Actually, we'll just do it this way. We don't even have to highlight them. Take that tile. Actually, let's find the fence. There's the fence. So we'll take this tile and we'll marry it to that fence. Take this tile, marry it to that fence. Tile, fence, tile, fence, tile, fence, tile, fence. Okay, now with all of those married, wherever that fence goes, that should all go. So now we want to marry that to the other wooden fence. So now those are all married together. Now what we do is we take that fence, we want to make it, once again, using the rotation tool, we want to change its angle, and we figured out that 315, getting on the yellow, we want to hold shift. That should take us to 315, release, grab the yellow again and bring it down to, there it is. That's the 320 I was looking at earlier. Okay, so roughly 320. Boom, there we are. That should be all set in place. Let's just save it. I mean, we got to save it sometime, right? So save it, and then now we'll get into the game. Okay, hide the stinking sword. Okay, so there we go. There's our platform. And so here, so now we got this foot stop, and as you can see, hey look, Mom, no hands, right? Player is constantly being just pushed around. So here we go. We'll zoom out so we can see a better look of it. But you know what? All this just kind of looks ugly, right? You know, there's just so much going on here. So let's do some magic. So now what we want to do is we want to click on this tile, this pivot, right? So let's zoom out here. Oof. Yeah, the bird behavior pivot. Get this all on the screen here. And what we want to do is we want to actually hide it all. You know, we don't want to see it, all this, so we'll click hide. Uh-oh, everything disappeared. Well, we want that to disappear. We don't want any collisions, so we'll turn collisions off. So now we go to the next thing in the parent hierarchy. Okay, it's not visible. We don't want it visible. We don't want collisions, so we turn collisions off. Okay, now we look at the platform. The platform, we definitely want collisions, but we want to be able to see it as well. Well, that turned on the foot stop too. Do we want to see the foot stop? I don't think we do. So we want to then turn those off, but we want to leave collisions. So then we do that for all of them. Turn it off, leave collision, turn it off, leave it collisions, turn it off, leave it collisions. Zoom in so I can see better. Turn it off, leave collisions. And the last one, turn it off, but leave collisions. And I think there's one more here. Yep, and turn it off, leave collisions. So there we are. Now, we'll just jump into it and you can see, there it is. So the platform is just like a magic carpet ride, almost just flying all by itself. There's no collisions, you can't see anything. It's just super cool, right? All right. So now, here is a scenario that I have here. We're going to take this now, and the magic that I like to do is actually, at least for this scenario, is I actually like to then take it, holding down shift. I want to bring it down 2 drops. So boom, boom. Now we're 2 drops down, 2 voxels down, whatever you want to say there. And then just for flair and excitement here, let's find a tree, right? Let's find a nice tree. Let's see, what tree do we have? Let's see, is that one? That's not that great. How about this tall tree? Let's do a tall tree. And then we want to center it. And then now, when we run it, boom, we're now running in the game. Put away the stupid sword. And then now we got this platform. We're able to jump on it. Look, Mom, no hands. the player runs around and he just goes around. So that's it. I mean, maybe you have something on the back side of this tree that you need to climb to get on top of it, but you can't get it until you've ridden the platform around the tree to access it. That's just a simple um, possibility for this behavior. So that's it for this behavior. This was shot once again in my Maker Monday yesterday. Unfortunately, the internet was bad. So come by if you want more tips and tricks and game maker logic type stuff. Reach out to me and I will do my best to answer your questions. Most likely be on stream on Maker Mondays at 6 p.m. U.S. Central. And I will see y'all on the other side. And thank you for hanging out and watching this tutorial.